We live in a world that's just obsessed with more. More polished, more flawless, more perfect. But what if the real beauty, the thing that actually makes life fulfilling, is found somewhere else entirely? Well, today, we're going to dive into a philosophy that does just that. It finds perfection right in the middle of the imperfect. Just let that sink in for a second. Instead of chasing some impossible airbrush standard, this idea is an invitation. It's asking us to find value in things that don't last forever, in the simple stuff, in things that have gracefully aged. And that right there, that is the heart and soul of a philosophy called Wabi Sabi. All right, so let's really get into what this means. Wabi Sabi is, at its core, a traditional Japanese worldview. But it's more than that. It's like an art form, a whole new way of seeing that just completely flips the script on what our modern world tells us is beautiful or valuable. And here's the thing you've got to understand. This is the key difference. It's not about looking at a flaw and saying, oh, I'll love this despite the crack. No. It's about seeing the perfection because of the crack. It's this really deep appreciation for the whole cycle of life, growth, decay, and the story that every single thing and every single one of us carries around. So if we break the word down, it's actually two concepts rolled into one. First, you have wabi. This is all about simplicity, humility, that feeling of rustic elegance. Kind of like minimalism, but with a whole lot more soul. Then you've got sabi. This is that special kind of beauty that only time can create. Think about the greenish patina on old bronze, or the way a wooden staircase gets smooth from years of use. When you put them together, you get this incredible idea of finding peace in things that are simple, natural, and have a history. Okay, so this is way more than just a cool design aesthetic, right? It's a whole mindset, and it's something we can actually bring into our everyday lives. And honestly, by embracing these ideas, we might just find a whole lot more peace and contentment in a world that feels like it's always screaming for more. The first big shift, it's all about letting go of perfectionism. I mean, think about it. A little crack in your favorite mug, a project at work that didn't go perfectly, or just a mistake you made. Wabi Sabi teaches us to look at those things not as failures, but as part of the story. And you know what's wild? Modern psychology is totally on board with this. Things like self-compassion are all about accepting our imperfections instead of fighting them. It turns out that's the key to resilience. Those flaws are just evidence that a life is actually being lived. All right, principle number 2 is embracing simplicity. And in today's world, this is a pretty radical act, isn't it? We're constantly being told we need the next upgrade, the latest gadget. Well, Wabi Sabi is the complete opposite. It's about consciously saying no to all that noise and focusing on the essentials. It's about valuing something that lasts over some fleeting trend and really connecting with the few things we actually choose to have in our lives. And wow, this next one is so powerful. Our culture is obsessed with youth, right? Wabi Sabi just throws that right out the window. It celebrates the story that comes with age. Wrinkles, scars, the scratches on your kitchen table. These are not things to be ashamed of or hidden. They're like badges of honor. They're markers of a journey, proof that you've lived and endured. It's a reminder that there's this deep, quiet beauty in a life that has been fully lived. Okay, I get it. This all sounds really nice in theory, right? But how do we actually do this? How do we bring this idea into our busy, chaotic, modern lives? Well, let's get practical. Let's look at how this philosophy can actually show up in your daily routine. Let's start at home. This is all about creating a sanctuary, not some perfect showroom. It means decluttering your space so you're only surrounded by things that you either love or truly need. Maybe it's choosing a handmade bowl over a factory-made one. And it's about learning to genuinely love the little chip in that teacup you use every single morning instead of just tolerating it. Because that chip, that's part of your story. Now, what about at work? This can be a total game changer. It means shifting your focus away from trying to be flawless and instead putting the spotlight on effort and progress. It's about creating a space where people feel safe enough to have a messy, imperfect brainstorming session, because that's where the real innovation happens. It's about valuing growth and learning more than that paralyzing fear of messing up. And maybe this is the most important place to practice this, in our relationships and with ourselves. Wabi Sabi is all about accepting the quirks and flaws in the people we love, and just as critically, in ourselves. It's about finding real, deep joy in those small, messy, imperfect moments of connection. Really, this is what self-compassion is all about. Seeing our so-called flaws not as weaknesses, but as the very things that make us uniquely and beautifully human. There's this one particular art form that, for me, just perfectly captures the entire spirit of Wabi Sabi. It's so beautiful and powerful. It's called kintsugi, which literally means golden repair. So picture this. A beautiful ceramic bowl falls and shatters. Now, instead of throwing it out or trying to hide the damage with superglue, a kintsugi artist does something amazing. They carefully piece it back together, but they mend the cracks with a lacquer that's mixed with powdered gold. So the damage isn't hidden, it's highlighted, it's illuminated. The bowl isn't just useful again, it's considered even more beautiful, more valuable, because it was broken. And that is such a powerful metaphor for life, isn't it? I mean, think about your own journey, the challenges you've faced, the mistakes you've made and learned from. Those aren't things you should hide. They're your golden seams. They are the very things that give you character and strength and a story that is uniquely, beautifully yours. So you might be wondering, why is this ancient philosophy so incredibly relevant today? Well, it's because it's the perfect antidote to so many of the pressures we're all under. This hyper-connected, achievement-obsessed world we're living in. I mean, think about the benefits. By embracing this mindset, you can actually dial down the anxiety that comes from chasing some impossible ideal. It helps you focus on what's really essential, which can completely change your work-life balance for the better. And when you take away that fear of failure, wow, that unlocks so much creativity. Because really, if it's okay to be imperfect, what's stopping you from trying something new? At the end of the day, Wabi Sabi is a powerful reminder to just pause, to breathe, and to appreciate life exactly as it is, right now. Not how we think it should be. It's an invitation to find fulfillment in being real, not in putting on some flawless performance. So that brings the question back to you. How are you going to bring a little Wabi Sabi into your life starting today? It could be something small, like really appreciating an old piece of furniture, or forgiving yourself for a mistake. Or maybe it's just taking a second to enjoy a quiet, imperfect moment. What's one small way you can start?